Now it's open.
Mm-mm.
You just unlock it.
Yep, I will.
I'm having a rough couple weeks.
You gonna what?
I'm having a rough couple weeks. I'm gonna scream at like 4 times.
Well,
Not
it's
going
like, the thing is broken off.
I could run home and grab one of those before you. The one that loves to yell at you. Just a minute.
Well, thanks for that. You probably didn't even know it went to that. I didn't get one today.
Why wouldn't they have
Or
one
breakfast.
in there?
Or a break. Did you get that?
Door's locked. They told me this.
Oh, there you go.
So that was Kayla, DeSalle,
Coming out, we're going in.
Jesse from the fair. And UW Extension.
You go. I don't belong in that room. I know, but it was almost very late.
Okay,
I
but
didn't know what,
several weeks later.
I didn't know what, well, you.
I was actually looking at it before I came in here.
Okay.
Yeah, Tony from the city is asking for, yeah,
Probably that's me, and he said.
the city's
This should
contribution
probably
for
be
next year, so I was looking at
Ah. Personnel meeting, I don't know, never been to one of these.
These all the same on this plan?
We're good.
I'm usually home by now.
you are.
Okay.
Leave at 3:30.
This is, yeah, this is all,
Do you like it? Oh, you have one of your first that,
Well.
this is straight contract.
Yeah, well, it's your fault if it's only.
How are you?
good, how about you?
Just wonderful.
Brian asked me if you'd be willing to sell that on 61 if the property values are sorry.
Yeah, sure.
I know, but were you willing to
Yeah.
take care of, well,
Yeah.
like, getting it sold
Obviously.
first?
What?
Are you willing to take care of getting it sold first? I'm gonna take it to committee next week.
Not happening.
I have the folder in my office right now. She brought that to me.
Oh, yeah. I just had to get your seats put back in. There's canines for it, get all the seats out. So it's still at sound like it.
Looks good. Call a personnel meeting to order. Resolution to change job description for trails and camp caretaker.
Okay, Cece, our current caretaker, is retiring. And so Ashley was looking at the job description, and it says position is a seasonal limited term employment, which she said means that when the season's over, we term the person and then we start all over the next summer. We have never done that here. I talked to a previous caretaker. I know who the caretakers were back to 1970, and it has never been that. It's been most of the hours during the winter or the summertime, and then you know, sparingly over the winter, but we've had groups in the winter time. Now that we have a pavilion, there'll be more usage, maintenance department plows the whole thing, so we would like the job description to say whatever it needs to, so we can keep a person ongoing. With the licensing and all of that, it would not be good to have somebody have to be retrained, because we do have things going on all year round out there, even though the majority of the usage is in the summertime. So I'm not sure if that's part-time or what that language needs to be.
This last winter when we had all that snow, we gotta go up there and check on them once in a while, make things.
Yes,
going.
yes,
And
and
if it needed plowing.
yep, and we have snowshoe hikes. We didn't have them last year because there was too much snow. But, we do have groups that are interested in mainly day use. But the fall, once camp closes, cause we are jam-packed all summer long, every weekend almost. During the week, we're busy, so this is catch-up time in the fall, once camp closes and we shut the water off. That's when like the trail work begins. Some of the stuff on the trails we can't do until the creek freezes over. So there's, things inside buildings we can do. So, it's not as labor intensive, but fall is kind of a large hours, but then it's sparingly. And with the current caretaker, she was kind of a jack of all trades, so, she could do a lot of things where previous caretakers couldn't. So obviously we're going to utilize that. But Ashley was going to request that be changed. And Justice Youth and Extension also requested that it be changed. I'm not sure what the correct wording is. Ashley could probably answer that, but if you would support that.
I think in extension, we're the ones that said it's part-time and not seasonal. Am I correct in that?
I don't have my
haven't looked
minutes.
at it, I don't either.
But we forwarded it to, do you remember, Jonathan, what we said in the minutes?
I think it was part-time, and that's what we have in our packet is part-time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So if you would support that change, so we can keep somebody ongoing. Trails End is a treasure, and you need somebody employed there that cares about it and knows that they're going to be, you know, there, because not all projects, you know, some of them are quite ongoing.
Well, this isn't changing what happens, it's just basically cleaning up language and,
100% it's a cleanup, yes. I was shocked when she said that at committee, I'm like, what? Yeah,
Do you have the original resolution?
Last year,
I don't
we
have a
had to check on it, in case it needed plowing.
yeah, you can.
yeah, I
Just
just have,
don't match it because it does lock.
you can flip the,
Right here.
Yeah. There's two in there. No, that's the other one, I went through there. Yeah, I went through them.
did Ashley make a resolution?
Is there any,
Does she have the original?
any questions on what's before us?
She can print one though?
Yes.
I have one printed.
Is it, and it's just
It
the
does-
resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know there was one.
Is there any
I
question?
know, but you need one that you guys
I'll
can sign.
second it.
What's that, excuse me?
Is there any financial,
No, it's nothing, it's just language cleanup, because this person has been year to year as it was,
Yeah.
and by this language, that's not right, so. I have a motion and a second on the floor, is there any further questions? None being heard, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Thank you.
Resolution number 2, to change in job description for, LCDD administrative assistant.
That would be Nick Stadnick
Yeah,
is presenting this.
to the best of my knowledge, I haven't read the minutes for the last land and water meeting. Nick brought this forward, that he's looking for somebody to do the education and the outreach in this position, which this person is already doing in this position. And he added to it, rewrote some of the job description. Yeah, would you go get Nick? Let him.
With Nick, I thought that you guys already approved the job description, you just had to sign a resolution.
And personnel, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what Ashley told me.
Okay.
So you just don't-
So
don't
that's,
know.
Yeah, I think you should.
Okay.
It's gotta come to Jim then.
Oh, sorry about that.
I wish there was a different way to, this wording for working conditions while performing the essential functions.
It locks from the outside. so-
I flipped it,
Oh, you
it's
did?
unlocked on the other side.
Just had to come down there, if there's any further questions on this.
Just gotta be smarter than the door.
What's that?
Talking about the one at 85%.
Yeah, I don't really care for the wording after that. I mean, it seems like there should be a better way to describe the position without may have contact with every public due to discuss the nature of public disagreeing with ordinance violations may be exposed to abusive language.
So separating those two things out, or I mean, separating them in the paragraph, is that what you're thinking?
I'd just like to word it differently, maybe may be exposed to difficult situations regarding the public in your role, or word it somehow like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm?
Let me see if I can, mind if I can, see if on the spot here, I can come up with a different. What if it was like may involve. Interaction with disgruntled.
Disgruntled's in it, I don't mind disgruntled's bad, it's just, usually, I mean, it's like you beat it up.
Or
Could just be maybe kind of bad, that those Gauchos members of the public, why they're disgruntled doesn't necessarily be pertinent to the, well, it's because of ordinance or because there's some bad data, doesn't
I like that.
may involve interaction with disgruntled members of the public. Leave it at that.
can you make those changes and like, we're gonna, are you presenting it how it's
I will be there if I need to.
Okay, so that's.
I mean, I can make this change right now. I mean, when I get back.
So strike that sentence starting with may, ending with public, and then fill it back in with.
May involve interaction with disgruntled members of the public.
Yeah, I think that is.
Okay.
And then put it on the, can you put it on the supervisor committees, please?
Yep.
Can you bring it up again?
my understanding, and I don't have the minutes in front of me, so this did pass personnel, correct?
Right.
Yes.
And it had, my understanding was it had to go to county board. The resolution has to go to county board for us to send it to girls and then for them to review.
So this is, we've already passed, this is basically here in front of us to sign the resolution.
We didn't have a resolution, that's the description,
Right.
correct?
That's right,
That's why.
that's right.
Yeah, I think we have to make. I think we asked you to bring it back so we can finish this up before we go.
Resolution is here.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution along with the job description attached with changes.
And forward to county board.
Forward to county board.
Motion is made, is there a second?
Yeah, second.
Seconded by Mr. Stout. Is there any further questions, comments? Anything to make before he leaves? None being heard, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Is there a copy of this one?
Yep.
To sign it.
Right here.
We're done with it. Sorry, Connie, where do you want me to put it in?
On the Z drive under committees, and then county board, please. Thank you.
Next one, number 3, resolution creating an additional highway worker 1 position. Jim and Bob, you two are highway, so. But this is one also I thought was already in personnel.
No, it was not.
LTE, I believe it was.
But it went to finance last week and finance said to take it here.
Yeah, it just passed in highway last week.
That's, we didn't talk about.
My understanding is there's money in the budget to assist in adding another position. So this year it won't be any burden on the budget. And, the commissioners expressed his need for some additional help up there. So when we looked into it at finance, highway passed, and we looked into it at finance, there was a resolution that Jamie found where at one time they had cut one worker and gave raises to the foremans out there, but it is what it is, it's worded as one, I don't know, what was the type of, what was the job description that they cut the one employee by, was it
So
a
it was-
worker one?
Yes, I think it was the justification for giving the operations manager and foreman an increase was that, it was determined that the current 4 foreman positions would be retained, but the number of highway crew positions would be reduced by 1.
And it really should have been, I think what happened that time was, I believe the safety job when Ben retired, is when, if I remember right, isn't that what went away?
I know that job went away, but I don't know if that had to do with this resolution that Jamie just.
Right, and I think it kind of coincided, that the timing was similar, if I remember it. But I'm not,
I'm looking right now. It's cause that resolution passed in May of 21, and I believe that then June of 21 he retired, so it was the same timeline.
yeah, so you were led, if it didn't mean it, you were led to believe it. And it should have said that we were eliminating the safety position, and because we did it that way, we need to
foremen are gonna rotate every other weekend. Instead of just one guy.
And my understanding is right now guys from the shop are doing other things but shop work, so. I believe that's what was told to us.
Questions?
Yeah, so it sounds like the need is for safety person, but this isn't necessarily for my safety person, am I correct?
We have the safety program
Yeah.
through safety, what's it called again?
Keeping safety simple.
Safety simple,
For now.
well, right? So. But,
At this position, we have to increase our budget for next year by.
yes. Yeah, find it somewhere next year for another employee out there.
We had safety before, but this guy's a freshman type guy.
So,
Why do we need another worker now?
cause right now, guys that should be working on trucks are working on roads. Shop guys are doing whatever.
My understanding is if they're paving, they literally got in for the shop to have enough people to run the plant, run the paving.
That's been like this until I made this position.
It's not the first time that's happened.
No,
Happens
it's,
every year.
but my understanding is it's getting a little worse to that effect. If they're, tar and cracks or whatever, running the tar and crack sealing crew, that's all they can do. Or even, I know when Bob and I was there, I mean, we can haul blacktop from most of the time state section, state running, unless we was clearing some far corner of the county or something. Or you guys stayed mowing or whatever, but no, they can't do that. If they take on a job now, that's absolutely all they can do. That's my understanding, I don't know. You guys.
That's my,
Well, it's been shorthanded for a long time.
What's the plan that you got for 2024?
That would be a Jamie question.
783,
The what?
the impact for this highway worker one?
I did not, yeah, okay.
Right.
73.
So we wait to do this until we have a budget for 2024 then?
The money is there right now for the rest of this year, from my understanding.
Yes.
But we don't know what the money's coming from for 2024, so we should make sure we have the money for 2024.
The problem is right now, my understanding is they're working Fridays to even try and get the work done because they're not shorthanded. So it's gonna get paid out overtime or whatever.
This year. For this year, by the time we get a guy in and trained, hired and trained, we're gonna be past the paving season.
Yeah, but it ain't only the paving season, Jonathan, they're trying to tar cracks, so it's supposed to have the fall.
Storm damage, right?
Storm damage. They tell me, I've been told that if, one man calls in sick, they don't have enough men for plowing snow. Well, that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Told
remember
that, but I don't know that, so I'll think it's.
I know last year they were short even having fighters.
Yeah,
That was an issue.
Commissioner said that they were going to start doing that. Storm cleanup on Fridays and being overtime for the state until.
Yep.
it falls into the grant, yeah.
Over 70% of the grant if it's billed out as overtime. But if we do it during the regular week, they didn't want to cover anything.
It's kinda hard to go out and ask for bids for blacktopping projects if you don't have the manpower to fulfill the job. So, it's kinda sad to see the blacktop plant shut down if we don't have the work crew there for it.
Well, and,
Hire trucks and do it.
I know they had, I think they were Taylor County trucks I seen hauling out of there that one day, I know. I think it was
You
Taylor
mentioned
County.
he had Taylor County doing something.
I know this
And he
one.
had trucks sitting out, we have trucks sitting, but we had to hire Taylor County, so he could have hired one less Taylor County.
I do know when I worked there, all the township work we did, and state work for that matter, did a lot of work on the state. That's all money coming back into the county. If you don't have the manpower to do it, then it is all gonna fall on this county.
Yeah, there's a good share that, the state works with a lot of patching holes, all that stuff.
And township workers all gonna come in too.
So what are you looking for?
Well, either we make a motion to do it or we don't, it's that simple.
Well, you heard the same thing I heard. Make a motion to go with it.
Motion's been made to add one additional highway worker one position. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Meyer. Is there any further questions? None being heard. All in favor signify by aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Recommending relocation of supervision of drug court coordinator and administration of TAD grant.
Okay, so this has already gone through personnel, justice, youth extension, and HHS, and all three committees are recommending to the board that the coordinator oversight moves to HHS. So this resolution also moves with the coordinator, the administration of the TAD grant. Judge and I met, and we would like to press pause on moving the grant to HHS, so we can do a little more investigating into what the implications of that would be. So we would need to amend the resolution as it's presented here.
Okay, we got a written amendment.
Nope.
Okay.
What's the concern?
The concern, is that this just was changed on the agenda on Friday. The bottom line for the grant and moving it to DHHS is, right now with the fiscals being done by Crystal out of the DA's office, we're receiving match towards the grant for that, and we will lose that match if it goes to DHHS because their employees, and most of that is funded by grant already, so we wouldn't be able to use the match, so we wanna look at, other options for that and make sure that it's not gonna affect the bottom line for the
So
grant.
for the time being, we can, Crystal continue what she's been doing.
Yeah, temporarily.
I thought a lot of counties are already running it through their HHS program, or does anybody know how they're doing it?
Well, I think the supervision of the position there is, I don't know about the administration of the grant being through the DHHS.
So the grant can run through somewhere else, and the administration of the employees can still be at HHS, is what I'm understanding?
I don't have that.
So we can proceed the way we are right now?
It wasn't the county board back there.
Yes, but the
If we put a
resolution,
pause on the TAD grant, we can proceed the way we are right now.
right, but we'll have to fix the resolution as is written.
On that, what does that match amount to, do you know? They're
Well, we have a
changing maybe.
25% match total, so we get 120, I think it's 123,000 as the grant and 160-some thousand, it's like $41,000 total for the match.
Okay.
What the exact amount is for Crystal, I'm not quite sure, but, you know, we've been talking for quite some time that, you know, we're struggling with that match and we don't wanna lose any of the grants, so, you know, just because this all came up so quickly last week, that's just why we're asking to look into things more. And it might make sense to just keep doing it the way we're doing it, since the grant is in a calendar year, to have that through this year, since we don't have that many months left, and the coordinator position, because that might be, you know, some of those fiscal duties might then go to a new coordinator, you know, so it's just because of the timing of it with last week.
So what are you asking us to do then, Ashley? Just stop this?
No, to remove all mention of the TAG grant moving to HHS in the resolution.
Where's the resolution? I haven't seen.
We're done. We don't have it.
Do you have any,
It's not in the packet?
It's in the county board pack, but not the
it's
personal.
in the county board yet?
Do you have it up, John?
Yeah.
So like strike the third whereas, the fifth whereas, and then be it further resolved.
That was awesome.
And the be it further resolved.
That one we have to,
That one would have to be rewritten, wouldn't it? Because to be a further resolved, that would move the administration and the tax.
so the where it says, be it further resolved that the administration report of the TAG grant will transition to the Health and Human Services Department effective August 1st, 2023. So we need to make that to say be it further resolved that the administration and strike out on reporting of the TAG grant. So just 5 or 6 words, or will transition to Health and Human Services Department effective August 1st.
Supervision of the coordinator.
So
Will
go,
transition.
yeah, go up to the first, now therefore be it resolved. So that sums up what the intent of the resolution should be.
Okay, so that would work, but yeah, I think that would work. So
Okay.
3, 5, and the last one.
Okay.
Did you find it yet, Joe?
No, I'm in the county board packet here, Jen.
Thanks, Joe.
You don't have a hard copy here, no?
That's right there.
Just what I'm reading.
Did you make copies?
Well, I'm not finding it in the county board packet right now either, but I must have looked past there, so.
I understand. Here's what. That makes sense, and I can understand why.
You want to see that? I think it makes sense.
Why I thought the cap was loose on that.
I guess does the DA's office have any comment on that?
No, not really. I mean, I think the last meeting I was at, the judge wasn't at, somebody asked Jeremy whether the tag would move, and he said he'd be agreeable. Somebody asked me what I thought, and I said, well, it doesn't matter one way or the other, that if it makes sense on one hand, if it moved, and I don't care one way or the other, so, I have no comment. If what judge is saying, if it could affect and be harmful to the grant as a whole, I mean, we don't wanna jeopardize that in any way. Yeah,
And I don't think moving administration of the grant had gone through any of the other committees.
and I don't recall ever hearing about it except at that meeting.
don't recall it going through the grant being discussed either.
It was
Just the
added
moving of the
Friday.
position.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, the supervisor of the employee has oversight over the budget that their wages are coded to. And that's the majority of that grant is wages.
There's language in the grant about who administers it, so.
Is there any further questions?
I don't think so, no, I don't think I paused to make sure we did the right thing. That's the worst thing in the world. So I'll make a motion to strike out 3, 5, and was it 7? The last one, 3, 5, the last paragraph. Approve.
What's crossed out here is lines 8 and 9, 19 and 20, and 31 through 33 on this paper here. You wanna see that? So that way, you want?
We do have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'm done reading it. I was just going back over that paragraph. What's your two thoughts?
I really don't know about that much about it right now. I thought, it was going to HHS.
The oversight is, but the administration of the grant will stay because of the match funds that come out of it.
How long is this for? 1 year?
Well, it's basically just giving them more time to get through this. But the oversight of the drug court is still moving. It's just the administration of the grant that isn't.
So we can, if I'm understanding correctly, we can investigate this more, and then we can move what we're gonna do with the grant.
But the oversight of the position is going to DHS now, or August first.
And then if it's in the best interest of us to move the grant there, we can do that, or if it's in the best interest to leave it where it's at, that's what we're doing here. Correct?
Correct.
Do we have a motion on the floor? I'll ask one more time if there's a second. Not the motion will die for lack of support.
I'll second
Motion is seconded. Is there any further questions or comments? Alan, you? No? All in favor signify by aye.
it. Right.
Opposed?
I don't know that much about it, Terry. I guess that would be no, something, I don't know.
Bob abstains. Oh, boy.
Again?
That it doesn't matter because it's the majority.
Right, it's the majority. But it does pass, I'm assuming that 3-2, I guess. Or 4, yeah, whatever you wanna put it. I assume you'll have to re-rate that one before we can sign it. Okay. Number 5 is resolution authorizing, sponsorship of students through the 720 Law Enforcement Academy. Jeff?
Okay, we brought a resolution forward asking for permission to sponsor, a person going through the academy, which is a requirement before they can be hired. We've, had some difficulty along with many other places of getting applicants, to fill the positions. We've got an open position we've had for quite some time that we can't get applicants to fill. With the academy, we will hire this person, put them through the academy, pay the tuition, and we'll pay them $15 an hour. While that, they're also required to work 4 8-hour shifts during the month, which would be on weekends, as part of their FTO. The biggest positive for this is that the academy of $5,000 and the wages that we pay will be reimbursed by DOJ. So it's really no cost to us. It just gives us an opportunity to hire someone that we know is coming out of the academy will go to work for us. And Phil's got some information on how the academies are going. He's involved with the academy, so.
Do they have to stay for a
Phil.
certain length of time?
No. No.
And Phil, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a fan of that being a no. And my reason being is, we go through the DOJ to pay this and get somebody trained. They're here for 4 months and they go somewhere else for another $1 an hour. I think if you're gonna make the step forward, as in many other places do, whether it be driving truck or different places that will give you the training and pay for the training, but you gotta work for them for 18 months or 2 years, some as high as 5 years, to be eligible for this. And I think that should be in this too, because otherwise we're just gonna be a revolving training door for people that use us to get their training and then go somewhere else.
So I've asked several agencies about the contracts that they have had in the past and that they currently have. And a lot of agencies do have some language that, hey, you have to work for us for 3 years. Some agencies you have to work for us for 5 years, and they all say the same thing. If they leave, there's nothing we can do. We can't recoup any of that money. Corp counsel agrees, you can't recoup that money. So let's say we hire somebody and say, we're gonna push you through the academy, we're gonna pay you $15 an hour to go through the academy, and you gotta work for us for 3 years. Well, if they leave Rusk County in 2.5 years for a different agency, the only money that we are able to recoup is the money that we spent on them or the state spent on them to go to the academy. That's all we can recoup, that's it. We can't say, if you leave in 2.5 years, you owe us for all of your equipment, all of your uniforms, and an additional $4,300.17 for whatever number you count. Can't recoup that. But we can recoup if it's just specific to the academy. So let's say we sponsor a student in the academy and we tell them that we're gonna cover the cost of the academy for you, which is $5,000. We will outfit you with uniforms for the academy. We can recoup all those fees. But to make them stay, it's just a threat, is all it is. It's a threat that no department can stand behind. You gotta work for us for 3 years, otherwise you owe us this, can't recoup that money.
But why not have that threat? What's the downside of having that threat in your back?
I don't like empty threats. I mean, if we're gonna not threaten, but if we're gonna make somebody sign a contract, I wanna be able to back that contract up. By, hey, this is what your responsibility is gonna be, this is what we're gonna do. I wanna be able to make sure that we can follow through with that.
You know, in reality, it's no different that we hire somebody today and they leave 6 months from now or a year from now. You can't, people move. I mean, we're a small county, I get it. People leave here to go elsewhere. We've had people leave elsewhere to come here. I mean, it's just given us the opportunity to know we've got somebody that we're gonna have at the end of this academy. And based on what I'm hearing is, the academies are going to be only those that are sponsored. So to try and get somebody out of an academy ain't gonna happen here in a couple of years because everybody who goes in is already sponsored. So to get these young people and, so that's kinda where we're at.
So I teach at CVTC in Eau Claire. I can't see John. CVTC in Eau Claire and at Northwood Tech in Rice Lake. CVTC just graduated a recruit program. They were full with 24 students. Every single student was sponsored in that class. So let's say myself, Jamie, and John are applying to the next academy in Eau Claire, and they have 2 spots left. John and I are sponsored. Jamie's not. She's not getting in. They give precedent to the sponsored students who are already hired by a department. I just held our second round of physical fitness test in for the Northwood Academy. It starts in August. There's requirements, physical fitness requirements that each recruit has to meet before we'll even offer them a position in the academy. And as of right now, so today, we had 11 show up. Of that 11, only 4 weren't sponsored.
And Jeff, or Phil, I'm not saying you're wrong. My problem with this is, if you go to a truck driving school, it's a truck driving company that's paying your school. If you go to some of the electronics outfits, it's that company that's paying you. In this case, it's taxpayers that are paying for these people to go into this academy versus people paying their own way. And if they can't be retained in this job, isn't that a waste of taxpayers' money?
No. So you're saying they can't be retained in this job. You're saying they might not be retained in Rusk County.
No, I'm saying in the job itself.
Sure. There's a ton of burnout in law enforcement. That's why we're having trouble filling positions. Tons of burnout. What we're trying to do is, Rusk County is not a sexy place to move to if you're not from Rusk County. There's not a whole lot of stuff in Rusk County to bring people outside of Rusk County into Rusk County. We as a department obviously have to fill our shifts. We can't let shifts go not covered. We're not like HHS, we're not like, finance. Someone calls in sick at finance, they just don't have that person that day. We've never had to repost for a job before because we were always able to fill that open position with one hiring process. The Lakewood Police Department just had to reopen one of their hiring processes. They've never had to do that before. We can't even get someone to apply to be able to fill that vacancy. And we've had that vacancy now for a few months, and we're just running one short, which is creating overtime for the county and for the taxpayers. If we can sponsor somebody, which almost every other department in this area is doing, if we're not willing to do it and they are willing to do it, they're gonna get those applicants. And that's what we're running into. Like Jeff said, if we were to sponsor someone and they were to successfully complete the academy, it would be at no expense to our county. The only expense that it would be to our county and to our budget would be when they are working those 4 8-hour shifts on the weekends in the FTO process, which they have to go through the FTO process anyways. We're just trying to make it so during the academy, during that 5 months, they're working FTO shift with an FTO supervisor, 4 shifts a month. So when they get out of the academy and they're done, we can get them on the road quicker. A lot of agencies, what they do is they sponsor someone to go to the academy, which is 720 hours, about 5 months. Once they finish the academy, then that person starts FTO, which is 3 months long. We're hoping if we're able to sponsor that person, they can start their FTO process while they're in the academy. Once they get done with the academy, they're only going to have 3 to 4 weeks left of FTO. So it'll enable us to get them on the road to fill that open shift sooner. DOJ will reimburse the cost of the academy, will reimburse us anything we pay them while they're in the academy, reimburse meals, mileage. So being able to sponsor somebody wouldn't be any cost to the county. The only cost it would be is uniforms. But we're gonna buy those anyways, if we hire the person. But if this person doesn't successfully complete the academy, they're on the hook for that $5,000 and $1,400, whatever it was for uniforms.
Okay, if they don't complete the academy, how do you get money out of them?
The contract that Corporation Council and several of us
You should have a
wrote up.
copy of the contract that we have. It shows what they're responsible for.
I think I've got it. Yeah, I see.
This paragraph explains how to get money back.
Yeah, I know, it's probably like getting blood out of a turnip too.
No, like we can garnish their paycheck.
No, that is. Yeah.
That's what we're got.
Because that's not the actual school.
Is there any further questions?
Jamie, is 8% a good number to be using
8% for
for, interest? If they did not pay in a timely fashion? The amount due plus interest, is 8% a good number to use, or should it be 2% over a certain?
Do we have a timeline in here? I mean, I feel like maybe having a timeline.
It's 30 days.
Oh. So 8% seems high for 30 days.
Well, it's per annum though, so it's 8 divided by.
Right, but yeah, short term. Usually the shorter the term, the lower your.
The reason I don't like using a number is 5 years from now, that number might be irrelevant.
2 years from now, it might be irrelevant.
Well, right, I wonder if there should be a little different formula that we use. You know, a percentage over a certain number that the county borrows money on, or then you don't have to ever worry about fixing it, is where I'm going with it.
At the current rate.
Current rate of what?
Yeah. The county's incremental borrowing rate over 10 years, but then that would be confusing if we put that wording in there because they don't have 10 years to repay it.
I think at the end of the day, the goal is to get people get hired and not, I mean, if they.
I mean,
Well, fine if you
honestly,
don't
we're
believe it,
giving
I
them
just
30
think-
days to pay it. Do we need to charge interest? I think we'd just be happy if we got
Well,
our
actually,
money back.
the interest should land on it if it's over 30 days. If they take more than 30 days is when the interest should.
Right, so, okay, the 8% kicks in if they fail to pay after 30 days and we institute legal proceedings.
Then that makes sense.
But you're right, Terry, there's nothing that we can do or any other agency can do to guarantee someone's gonna stay at that job. There's nothing we can do.
Is this what City Eau Claire is doing too? I noticed they've run an ad on TV for like an academy.
City of Eau Claire County, Dunn County, Menominee, Rice Lake, Barron County, Schteck, Cumberland, Cameron, Webster, even these small agencies, like I had 2 kids, they're in their 20s. But they're sponsored by Webster PD and Siren PD. Those are 2-3 cop towns, but they're sponsoring people to go through the academy.
Yeah, and we have one that was sponsored by Schteck, wasn't Schtecker?
Who's that?
Yeah.
Schteck.
Yeah.
That. He's worked for us for 5 or 6 years, so he was sponsored 6-7 years ago by Schteck PD.
Well, by sounds of it, it's gonna be a vicious circle.
No.
If everybody's going to the sponsor program, if you hire someone that's already got the training, you're hiring someone else that, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You might hire someone that was sponsored by someone else.
In a year or 2, I don't think you'll see anybody in the academy that isn't sponsored. 10 years ago, almost no one was sponsored. Might be 1 or 2 in the academies, but now it's almost every recruit is sponsored.
How long does it take to complete the academy?
5 months. 720 hours. You have to do a physical fitness test in, an interview, and a physical fitness test out as well, along with passing all your classes and passing all the scenarios. like today, 14 showed up, 3 didn't pass.
Did not pass?
Correct.
Well, we can sit here and ticky-tack, I guess, over the fine print on here, but I kind of personally like the idea.
Motion's been made. Second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there further questions or comments? None being heard, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you for your time.
When does this start, Joe?
Maybe, when does the academy start? August 7th is our orientation day.
We got somebody lined up then.
We're interviewing a person tomorrow.
Jim, do you have the resolutions crossed out?
Yeah, that's what you're talking. You wanna sign that one, or what? Are you gonna read it?
I can read it real quick.
Yeah, but I just need this.
At this time, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion.
Motion's made, is there a second?
Yeah.
Mr. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Radzak.
Yes.
Mr. Stout,
Yes.
Mr. Undershoots.
Yes.
And yes. We're now going into closed session, Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, Para 1, Para C. Considering employment, promotion, compensation, performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility.
It's gonna be a long one, it's not gonna be a long one.
Yeah, they're allowed. Thanks, Terry. Yes.
Thank you guys.
Yep.
At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's made and second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Alan.
No, he didn't first.
I said.
He first.
I thought I first did.
Going to forestry?
Mm-hmm, and that's over there, right? Yeah. Well, hold on.
I'm too concerned about it.
Is it not till 6? 6:30. Oh, 6:30. Yeah. 5:40. What do you want to do? I have tacos at LJ.
I'll go there.
You go there?
You wanna go there?
Okay.
Actually, I parked down here today because, are you up front that way?
Yeah, I'm over in the lot. Should we just hop in your car?
No, it's a bad idea.
Or-
Is your front seat cleaned?
We can go in there. And, usually she'll make me
I'll give them
taco
tacos.
salad and give me a bag of Fritos, and I'm happy as a clam. Instead of putting it in the shelf.
Mhm.
Either way, their tacos are good, however you like it.
I like
But if you want to try the salad, the Fritos.
So this morning, I got all this, I got, Jim West gives this, and I got him to sign a letter and everything, and I called him this morning and said, I got it. We've had a conversation, we decided you didn't. I'm going, okay.
Six should be nice. I already moved this appointment once, that's why I was on. He's got nothing going on. Send you the bill.
Do you
they do pizzas Wednesdays? Or what, a pizza special Wednesday? I forget what days they do that.
I think maybe will give me something, I just don't know what. Hey, first,
God,
spaghetti.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Tough to go. Somebody else can do it, but don't.
Kids do that.
Might have been the granddaughter.
Kids will do that.
No, cause there was quite, I thought there was quite a few left last night. I was purposely saving some in case you wanted to bring one with you. I was being considerate.
What did get you?
Nothing.
Yeah, agreed.
Nothing. Nothing at all. I think I'm gonna go find a sandwich too. Just so I got some time.
Caleb, and I gave
Why?
water.
Why?
Sound nice.
Hello.
Oh, was it a healthy sandwich?
So they have the administrative coordinator, the
That's a
finance
BL.
director, and 3
I don't like
board
it when
members
it's
plus the
teachers,
clerk,
that's
who have
actually-
not dispersed.
I always
anything.
refer to it as. Just put more B and more L. Pile her up. Well, there you go. T is for T.
I thought that closed session would be so they didn't have a chance to talk about us.
I think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
I got Lily's from, farmer's market.
Good forestry. Yeah, theirs is in 45 minutes.
See you later.
They didn't have a meeting last time because,
Yeah, I might have to learn. Did that go through properly?
You guys shut the lights off?
Did you get the rest? Yeah.
oh, gotta get the one on
I'm
the other
in
end.
it. I'm in it. And I still have 2 bars. Means if they were talking about like in different areas in this building or something.
Okay.
Maybe because
We did it.
like mine was fine. Well, I didn't actually have music.
It has been all day, nobody.
We have wandered.
Mm-hmm. That's weird. So he came here. And then left. Saved. I spoiled some of their plans. Now we better leave before we're accused of hanging out in the courthouse doing something